Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as the pros are expecting a major update, it seems, to Call of Duty Vanguard relatively soon. Is it going to come in time? Is it going to make significant changes to what the third game mode is going to be? As Crimsix reckons, we might be playing 2 hardpoints and 3 search and destroys this year. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Tell this channel reach new people. Please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, a couple of things from other esports just real quick. Wanted to mention this from Dashy. Almost got the eco ace here in Valorant. That's generally been his game, where he plays a bit of Vanguard, then he hops on Valorant and has a good time. Almost gets this nice little ace here with the Ghost. But well, as Mocking even says in reply, kind of a Valorant free agent, like you should retire from COD, become a Valorant pro. And he's like, trying to scrim right. So maybe, well, maybe it's even a possibility. Like, honestly, Dashy's ridiculous in this game. Like, watching him play is just phenomenal. There's it seems like there's so many players that are like controller players that can go and play on PC and just kill it. But the other way around isn't necessarily so easy. But I guess people are using keyboard and mouse all the time these days anyway, even if you are a controller player. But yeah, definitely, I don't know, like maybe Dashy actually could make it as a Valorant pro. Like, there is probably a world in which that happens. This guy's just a freak at games, to be honest. There's just some people like this at the COD scene. You think, wow, like, you know, imagine having that talent for gaming in general. This also from Tashi over at the HGS side. There was some talk about this really, like, why isn't there a guy like this that deals with Call of Duty? Because I guess Spinner Spence, like, he's kind of that guy sometimes, but not really from the CDL angle. This effectively from the Halo Esports perspective. He's like the public facing guy that the pros can go and talk to. He'll well, give their opinions back to the studios and all this type of stuff to help things get worked out. And there was some sort of issue with the Open Series tournament that well, that's coming up, I'm pretty sure this weekend, that there was some talk, okay, it should be double elimination rather than single elim. So they changed it back to double elim. It was an insight thanks to alerting us. He also talks about all the team cap right now that's in place on FaceIt that is going to get changed. So you know, just stuff like this you see and you're like, okay, wow, like, well, some nice community feedback right here, talking to the scene, thing, okay, well, thanks for alerting us, all this type of stuff. He can take it back and get things sorted out internally. And if we just had a representative like this in the CDL that could actually try and make things happen over there, at least that would make the pros think that their voice was getting heard. As even if things didn't necessarily happen like they'd like them to, at least it would feel like there was some transparency or some communication one way or another. Whereas right now we don't really get that in the Call of Duty scene, as unfortunate as that may be. Also wanted to mention this, right, because Halo seems to be so incredible, and the last couple of years of Call of Duty so relatively poor that well, Formal and Enable seem to be making a massive comeback on the Halo side. Enable's been ridiculous at this game, Halo Infinite, so far, and it seems like he might be teaming with Status Quo going into, well, the upcoming season. Now, this is Flamesource Sim, you guys might know Optic Flamesword. He kind of started this brand Status Quo, and Enable may be playing on it, right, as you can see on this FaceIt squad right here. So pretty unbelievable, frankly, if Enable does make the comeback in the Halo front. Seems like he kind of wants to, given some of the clips I've seen from him as of late. Like, this is just absurd, to be honest. Like, I might play this for you guys right at the end of the video. But, I mean, yeah, he was just sending some ridiculous shots right here. But yeah, still, this guy looks pretty nasty on the game. I, well, wonder if he can actually make the competitive comeback. I've seen it from Formal, and, I mean, yeah, of course, he retired after the, well, during the middle, really, of the Modern Warfare season. After that really didn't go too well for him on Seattle Surge, when he got benched, and then there was one series where they brought him back for a respawn, and then benched him for Search and Destroy, and didn't bring him back in for the rest of the series. Joey Dubsy was on a bad one right there. Since then, of course, Enable's joined 100 Thieves as kind of the content curator, and, well, now who knows if he's going to actually join an organization as a player himself. So let's dive into some of the Call of Duty stuff. This from Bance a couple of days ago, squad spawns, and Insight isn't very happy about it either. Now, at the start of Modern Warfare, we thought, this is a couple of years ago, there was going to be a major change that was going to change the spawns. I'm pretty sure we, as like the public, didn't hear about this at the time, but the pros were told there was going to be major changes to the maps, to the spawns, all the stuff in the game, weapon balancing, and therefore teams like Axis, Los Angeles, Guerrillas basically did not practice at all because they thought the game was going to significantly change. Now, you know, who knows whether that's what's going on with Toronto, what we talked about slightly earlier today, but still, apparently there is a big change brewing. Zuma talked about it on the flank just a couple of days ago. I'll share for you guys the clips here in a couple of seconds. The fact that apparently there's going to be some major changes happening to, well, Control, of course. They've got to try and fix Control if they actually want to make this work as a third game mode, but by the time things actually do get fixed, if the update even does change things, because that's the problem. Sometimes they do say, okay, we're going to do this update, it's going to change things, but the problem is it will break something else, or it won't do exactly what it intends to do, and therefore, by the time it comes around to the kickoff, are things actually going to be fixed for the season? Like, I mean, as you can see right here, Arcitys, there's so many issues. First of all, one of the issues is if you capture some of the ticks in certain situations, I think you can, like, decap the tick, which basically makes it pointless having a tick in the first place, and then also you've got this, well, thing on your screen that you can't even see what you're looking at because there's something in your way. So plenty of issues with Control already, compounded by the fact that squad spawns really don't seem to work in a game mode like this. But if changes are being made, and squad spawns even might be getting changed quite significantly, that's at least what Zuma kind of implies, that a couple of weeks before this event, hopefully relatively soon, even though what tends to happen here is that they say there's going to be an update and then it gets delayed or something, and it will happen just before the event, so the pros have no time to play on it, probably, at least no time to practice on it. That's what happened in Call of Duty past, that, you know, maybe they can fix these things and change these things. But Crimsix also has a few interesting words to say, that he isn't very confident that anything really is going to happen to Control to make it playable, and therefore he reckons 3 search and destroys, 2 hardpoints could be the way it goes.
Any word on third game type? Dude, probably from what it's sounding like, it sounds like we might do 3 S&Ds. I don't know. They can't seem to figure out Control.
That's supposed to be for points, and we don't have a third game mode yet, by the way.
There you go.
Wait, has there been a single gameplay update at all? Weapon balancing, game mode balancing. Has there been one?
They tried to remove doors and it didn't work.
Is this the first time in Call of Duty's history that there hasn't been one gameplay balancing update?
I already doubled that.
Like in the same
There's
year
usually
that it
at
launched?
least a weapon update. I feel like
at the minimum.
Like before
updates.
Christmas, there was always like a change. I feel like.
Yeah, they usually do something, but now
it's always the main first title update, like the
there's
update patch.
Yeah, like when the season came in. That's when
I heard there's an update.
One more year.
There's an update coming in though.
Oh.
I mean, I hope so.
Spill the beans, brother.
Oh, well, wait, you guys didn't know that? No, there was a meeting with the pro players. I know exactly what happened. I'll let you guys know everything.
Well, now that you said
I did hear that.
Yeah, no, there's a spawn update coming in right before, literally before the event, like 2 weeks before the event.
Had a spawn update.
I've heard this before.
No,
there's. You remember?
Listen, bro. All I remember is walking in, seeing 27 hard points on every single map.
Wait, that was talked about already. That was talked, bro. That was legit on Reddit.
That was just what it was.
I just heard this spawn update. This song.
So as Slasher and Aches were kind of saying in the background there, was Zuma was explaining that apparently there is an update coming soon. I don't think I'd really seen this on Reddit. I did hear about it a little bit ago that this was a possibility, but I mean, anyway, it seems to be the case. Now, Aches and Slasher aren't, well, necessarily convinced that it is going to happen, because, well, this is what happened back in 2019-2020 at the start of the Modern Warfare season, when the pros were getting told a similar thing. Really hope an update comes soon so we can start playing this game at a competitive level. That, of course, comes out in November, and pretty much nothing happened in terms of an update until pretty much the middle of the season, right? So a lot of players just weren't even playing the game with thinking that it was going to be a major overhaul that never really arrived, which is obviously unfortunate. This also right in January, just before the Minnesota kickoff event, told there's a slide cancel patch on the 22nd, get close to 20 seconds, no timeline on the slide cancel patch, only Call of Duty. I'm just curious if Comp is actually going to get a patch this year, a week out from the league and still nothing, gotta laugh it off. Bro, we legit haven't got a single update that improves the game for us, and we still aren't going to before the Minnesota launch weekends back in 2020, insane as eggs. So, of course, they were frustrated that the fact that there was actually nothing that changed the game before everything kicked off, and this time apparently they've been promised it once again. There is going to be a major update, but whether that's actually going to make a significant difference, I suppose it does remain to be seen. This also is kind of Aches and Rambo were talking about at the time, because in July they finally actually did an update. As he says, a huge weapon update 9 months in that should have happened in month 1 is the root of the issue, right? So saying that, things got delayed way too long. Now, they're saying apparently that squad spawns are going to get changed or get fixed or something. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they've also got to fix Control. Probably it's like, this week that the developers are back from Christmas holidays. So, with any luck, I guess they'll be back in business. But, still, it might take them a week or two to get things turned around. Things might take longer than they expect them to, because, of course, at 2 weeks out from the launch weekend or the kickoff classic is going to be about the 7th or so of January, which is, pretty much the end of this week. So whether they can get things turned around in a week, I doubt it. It's probably going to be more of a situation where by the time the update drops, it's the pros have very little time to actually practice the game before the kickoff classic. I guess there's no money on the line regardless, but it's still quite a remarkable situation. This also from Optic question mark, who's next to join the roster. And as Doug said to Martin says, he's kind of been hinting at this for quite a few years now, but this is kind of his intention. He was on FaZe for a time. He, of course, left FaZe. Now he's looking for a new opportunity. Optic said to him was always one of my bucket list goals. He says, who knows? Optic said to one day or another. We haven't noticed this. Clayster kind of trying to roast him a little bit in the replies right here. Like, maybe you said this a couple of times before. This also from Breaking Point, and then just just to finish things out, I thought it was pretty interesting to discuss 2022 predictions on 4 different categories. Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Champs winner, and then Most Improved Player. So for last year, I guess it was clearly, well, obviously it was Insider's Rookie of the Year, Champs winner was FaZe, Player of the Year was Simp or aBeZy, depending on your taste, and then at Most Improved Player, pretty unanimously was Bance, I think, for the previous seasons. So, well, let's discuss the possibilities for this season. Player of the Year, I mean, look, if it's not a guy like Simp, you would be pretty surprised. Simp is obviously the safe bet right here. There's not many other players that really are in a ballpark of possibility. Pretty much Simp, aBeZy, Cellium are all there and thereabouts. Shotzzy you've probably got to throw in there as well. And there's probably a couple of players on other teams that you can look at, maybe a Hydra or something, if he really has a monstrous year on New York. But you've got to think of a team that's actually very capable of winning championships, that's also got an incredible amount of star talent. FaZe are the number 1 on that list, frankly. Like maybe Cammy could be up there as well, right? So there's some few options right here, what could be players of the year, at least based on last year. But, you know, it could be very different, right, in terms of which teams actually turn up and win things. Of course, Champs winner, like, I think the FaZe are definitely the favourites. But my kind of bold prediction that someone asked me quite a while ago, probably a couple of months ago, before the season, way before the season began, who my kind of bold prediction winner of Champs was, and I was going to say New York Subliners. I thought that by the time they get to Champs, they have all the team meshed together, Crimsix and Clayster, like tough to look past at Champs. My kind of bold prediction is that New York are going to win Champs, and then we've got Rookie of the Year. There's a few options here, frankly, because there's Sib on the Seattle Surge, there's Pred also on the Seattle Surge, there's a Nasty, for example, or even Gizmo, right, and Afro isn't technically a Rookie of the Year anymore, I guess, because he came in last year, but even if he has a monstrous year, like, he could still be considered kind of in that category. Probably not, though, but he came in overly for the last couple of stages. But still, you know, all these guys are in consideration. Most people might say a guy like Sib. I kind of want to say Nasty, to be honest. Like, we've seen this guy for quite a while. Like, he's got an awful lot of potential. At the same time, it could be someone right now in challenges that's going to get a shot halfway through the year, kind of like Standy or Insight, and will actually come into the team and make a real impact. But yeah, my Rookie of the Year pick might be Nasty. I think that Pred should be right up there as well. Sib is also a good discussion point. And then Most Improved Player is a really difficult one, honestly, to give a good answer to, because you could take someone who's like, you know, theoretically way down the pecking order that's going to get somewhat better than they were this year. But, I mean, still, if anything, it should probably be a player that actually makes their team more competitive than they would be otherwise. I want to say a guy like Huke, really, because at the end of last year, like, at the start of last year was a really dominant force, but the end of last year was nowhere near. So I think that maybe going into this year, if Huke can once again be like a, you know, top 5 SMG in the game, that could probably count if he takes LAG to some degree of success. But yeah, very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. TacticalRab Academy does not miss as per usual. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in a like button and tell us the YouTube gods this is a good video, and just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always, take care, and I will see you next time.